A blockbuster Giannis Antetokounmpo trade is incoming, as the New York Knicks have been revealed to be going all in on the NBA superstar who's perennially one of the top MVP candidates, with multiple New York Knicks players being involved in this trade, and obviously a connection to Jason Kidd, potential Knicks head coach, also is playing a factor in this as well. So there's a lot to go over, guys. What's up? Welcome back to Knicks Digest. It's Chris here, and we're going to jump right into things as always. Guys, if you're part of that 75% that's not subscribed to Knicks Digest, make sure to subscribe. We got daily videos like this that you do not want to miss out on. We got multiple videos every day throughout this part of free agency where there's a bunch of news going on. Whether it's coaching, whether it's free agency stuff already starting to kick off, whether it's trades, we are covering all of it as long as it has an impact on the Knicks. But let's jump into the video. As we know, Giannis Antetokounmpo, man, it's not a done deal that he's going to be traded, but it feels like a done deal that Giannis is going to be traded. And the New York Knicks are one of the favorites to land the Milwaukee Bucks superstar. Now, Giannis has been with the Bucks his entire 12-year career, and he has been nothing short of phenomenal with the Bucks. The man is a multi-time MVP, Defensive Player of the Year, NBA champion, and now with the Bucks completely out of assets, it's very clear that they're going to be moving on from Giannis Antetokounmpo because Giannis is growing sick and tired of it. Now, Giannis has made it very clear that he wants to win championships, and though he'd prefer that would be in Milwaukee, he's not going to sit around and watch as Milwaukee continues to fail to build a contender around him, and he will go running for the hills, especially while he's in the prime of his career still. He's 30 years old, and he does not want to burn his prime because he was too busy on losing Milwaukee Bucks teams that did not have the assets to really make things work. And we know that the New York Knicks have been interested in Giannis in the past. We know that they're interested in them right now. And now we have a huge update in regards to that, as Gary Wolfel mentioned that there's a report that the Knicks are asking Dallas officials for permission to speak to their vacant head coaching position. Yesterday, he was told that the Knicks are preparing to make a tsunami-type offer to acquire Giannis Antetokounmpo from the Bucks, where Kidd once coached him back in the olden days of Milwaukee. Now, on top of that, Jeremy Cohen did mention that if you believe the report that the Knicks are preparing a tsunami-type offer for Giannis and you immediately fire up the trade machine with a deal that you feel comfortable with, it's not enough. So what we know right now is that the New York Knicks very clearly are pursuing Giannis Antetokounmpo. They want to add him to the team, and the team does not want to trade Karl-Anthony Towns, meaning they'd likely have to trade every single role player on the roster. That means OG, it means Mikal, it means Mitchell Robinson, Deuce McBride, and you look at that trade, you're like, is that really worth it for a team that went to the conference finals, that more than anything feels like we need to fix the bench? Instead, we just give up all our assets for Giannis and have this very top-heavy team. It doesn't feel like a correct move, especially if you're firing Tom Thibodeau, partially because there was not enough of the bench being used throughout the season and the playoffs. It feels like it's kind of a weird decision. Now, look, I'm not going to sit here and say I don't want Giannis on the Knicks. I want Giannis on the Knicks very badly. I think if the Knicks have to trade Karl-Anthony Towns for Giannis, they should not live and die on that hill. They should be happy to trade Towns for Giannis, even if it includes trading Mikal Bridges as well, which is a very likely scenario. As friend of the channel, Knicks Feed mentioned, it's probably Cat plus OG, or Cat and or OG plus Mikal either way. Pick two or three of them, to pick two of the three, and then take Kuzma back. The Knicks as well could throw guys like Tyler Kolek and Pacome Dadier into the trade and just kind of sweeten the pot a little bit more. As Blames said, I still really feel like it's Cat, but if it's between him or OG and Mikal together to get Giannis, neither get it done. I'm keeping Wingstop, which I do agree with. I think the Knicks should not trade away all their role players. Role players are needed to win the NBA Finals, and yeah, I mean, I'm not going to sit here and pretend like Karl-Anthony Towns, Giannis, Jalen Brunson is not going to be the best big three basketball team in a very long time. It is, and they actually fit pretty well together, but they do all want the ball a lot. It would be a good fit in terms of how the play styles match up. However, at the same time, it does become this situation where, yeah, you got three great stars, but you do need role players, and the Knicks, they would be short on role players. So it becomes that situation where you sort of don't want to do that. We're seeing two teams in the NBA Finals who are incredibly deep. The Knicks were by far the thinnest roster of all the teams that made the conference finals this year. I mean, the Timberwolves, who also lost, they had a good bench. They had Nickeil Alexander-Walker, Naz Reid off the bench. Terrence Shannon Jr. was good. They had an actual bench. They had Dante DiVincenzo off the bench. Their bench was great. The Knicks do not have a great bench. That is a problem for this team right now. And as long as that's a problem, what we're looking at is a Knicks team that likely is not going to be willing to trade their whole bench when clearly or trade their entire role players when clearly the issue was not the stars. The stars were good. You have enough star power. It's just a matter of sort of getting this bench here. That's why I think trading Karl-Anthony Towns for Giannis makes more sense if that's the route you are going to go. Now, obviously, as we see here, the Knicks bench would look something like the Costco guys if you do make that trade and you trade all your assets away. Giannis, though, he could force his way to the Knicks, and that'll help things. He does have effectively 2 years left on his contract. He's probably going to opt out of that player option to get more money per year and lock up one more big contract for the rest of his career. I don't think he's going to be terrible at 33 years old. I think he's, in fact, going to be great. So, because of that, I do imagine he'll lock up one final contract that as he starts to get over the hill, which is crazy to think Giannis, in the not-too-distant future, is going to start to get over the hill. Time flies, but once that starts to happen, what we're going to see is Giannis Antetokounmpo. He's going to have a lot of control, and he could say to the Bucks, well, the only trade I'm going to accept is the Knicks, because if you don't trade me there, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to tell that team I'm not re-signing with them, and I'm going to sign with the Knicks anyway. So it becomes that situation where, are you going to back away from that, or are you going to do what the Toronto Raptors did and say, screw it, we're going to do it anyway, and it worked out for the Raptors, so I think more teams would be willing to do that than meets the eye. On top of that, we just look at Giannis. Giannis put up 30 points per game, 12 rebounds, 6.5 assists, and got a steal and a block per game. He shot 60% from the field. The man was phenomenal. He's one of basketball's best players on both sides of the ball. He's the best two-way player in basketball right now, and the Knicks would likely have to trade OG Anunoby, who puts up 18, 5, and 2 with a block and a steal. OG would fit excellently on that team and on the New York Knicks, meaning obviously that you can't be like, well, we can't trade our good players for one of the best players in the NBA. Like, yes, you can, and you will have to. It's not like the Knicks traded nothing to get Towns. They traded DiVincenzo and Randall. Those losses hurt, but they trust that Towns is going to be worth it. On top of that, you also look at Karl-Anthony Towns, who could also be involved and could be at the forefront of the trade. You could do Towns and Mikal for Giannis and Kuzma, or Giannis and Bobby Portis. And Towns is a guy who's putting up 24.5 points, 13 rebounds, 3 assists, 52% from the field, 42% from 3. And then, are you keeping Deuce, or does Deuce join the starting lineup with a team that has Giannis, or is Deuce getting traded to Milwaukee in that deal where he's putting up 9.5 points off the bench, 2.5 rebounds, 3 assists, shooting 37% from 3 and 40% from the field, 40% from 3 in the corner as well. So it becomes a situation where you kind of have to figure out what you're going to do. What are the Knicks going to do? They're going to trade Mikal, OG, and Deuce for Giannis. Obviously, their 3 pick swaps are going to be involved as well in that Wizards pick. But you do that, and you have no two-way players on that team. You have no 3-and-D guys. You just traded all of your 3-and-D guys. That doesn't feel like a smart move. And I don't think that Leon Rose is going to be that interested in making a move of that caliber, if you ask me. I just don't see that happening. The Knicks already, their bench, averaged the fewest points per game by any team, by a lot. I mean, every team there was 4 teams that had under 30 points per game. The Nuggets, the Kings, the Lakers, and the Knicks. And the Knicks were the only one under 25 points per game, under 26 points per game, and they were putting up 21 points. Their bench played the least amount of minutes as well. I mean, you just look at the top 10 here. The Knicks played 7 less minutes than every other team. Their bench. It was absolutely insane what they were doing. So it's tough to really be happy with what we're seeing with moving more of the Knicks bench. It just wouldn't work. You're just doing sort of what the Suns did with a better team. You'd have to just have bench players materialize out of thin air at that rate. And that's proven that that's not where the NBA is going right now. Maybe the Knicks can shift it back to big threes and stuff, but with the way that the salary cap works and the aprons, it doesn't feel like that necessarily is what's going to happen. So as long as that's the case, as long as what we're seeing is the New York Knicks in this situation, it's going to be difficult for them to go out and get Giannis for a deal that makes sense for them. Now, there definitely are contracts that could work. There's just trades in general that could work, but you're probably going to have to give up Karl-Anthony Towns. It's the most likely scenario. And now, Jason Kidd getting involved. The New York Knicks are hunting Jason Kidd. They're going to ask permission to interview Jason Kidd for the job. And if they want Jason Kidd, they're going to give him a monster offer. They're going to offer him so much more money than what the Mavericks are paying him because James Dolan can afford to, and James Dolan is fine doing that. So they're going to offer him a massive contract to effectively force Kidd's hand into taking it because money talks. and then you're going to give Giannis is going to have more interest. But still, at the end of the day, you have to look at the Knicks players who are tradable. You have to look at guys like OG and Deuce and Karl-Anthony Towns and Mikal Bridges and figure out what you're going to do with these guys. Who is going to get moved for Giannis? Who are you trying to keep? Because what are they going to do if they move all their players except for Cat and Brunson for him? You have no bench. Zero. You have zero bench whatsoever. That is not going to work. So the Knicks have to be careful with the way they go about this. Now, look, again, I want them to figure out a way to get Giannis. Hopefully they can. But it's going to come with Giannis having to say, trade me to New York. That's where I want to play. I want to be on the Knicks. And then on top of that, likely that would mean Jason Kidd would be hired by the Knicks before they did that. Also because Jason Kidd is the connection to Jalen Brunson alone. So it's not like okay, well, even if it doesn't work out, it's not like we just hired a coach just for Giannis. No, we hired a guy who Jason Kidd coached and oversaw Brunson's breakout. So it becomes a whole snowball of situations here that we're going to see exactly how it plays out very soon. But guys, what do you think is going to happen with all this? This is a crazy, crazy time. It's a crazy story going on right now. Let me know what you think in the comments down below. Like this video, subscribe, turn on post notifications. I am trying to respond to the comments, but there's been a ton of them. You guys have been killing it recently. So I will get to every single comment that I can get to in the future. I'll sometimes someone I'll just sit around, start shooting off the responses. I do like to interact with you guys in the comments a bunch. We also now have channel members if you're interested in that, and if you're not, oh well, no harm done. But a subscription does work as well, in case you're interested. It's just one button, and it helps out my life. It's motivation for more videos like this. Thank you so much for watching, guys. Have a great weekend. Go Knicks.